Shemai, y'all. This is a test. I've got some new streaming software and I wanted to see if it works. So I thought, hey, let's... No, stop. Is this reading? I guess so. Shit, stop. Shemai. Okay, so this is broadcasting. Had some problems. That's why I'm doing this. So I'm going to be reading a old thing that I wrote a long time ago, 100 Ways to Annoy a Wargamer. So, starting in order, just tell me what you think. Okay, so how to annoy a Wargamer. Number 1, refer to your miniatures only by their first name. Number 2, refer to his miniatures only by their first name. This was an old Warmachine test game. Okay, number 3, try to bribe his units over to your side. Number 4, 3 words, pastel color scheme. Number 5, rent advertising space on your unit banners. Number 6, offer your opponent the chance to surrender before the battle starts. Number 7, dress in character, sans pants. Number 8, perform a play-by-play commentary in a Howard Cosell voice. Number 9, only speak in third person. Number 10, use large brass dice. Roll them dangerously close to your opponent's figures. Number 11, only use micro dice. Number 12, only roll 1 die at a time. Number 13, play battle music. Mr. Roboto works best. Put it on repeat. Number 14, name all your characters after obscure Hungarian royalty. Become annoyed if your opponent fails to notice. Number 15, claim your army is comprised of all women. When pressed, explain they are all in disguise just not to get kicked out of the army. Number 16, place a hammer on the table before the battle starts. Explain that it's there to ensure loyalty. Number 17, quote Sun Tzu often, but only irrelevantly. Number 18, every time one of your miniatures has unrestricted line of sight to the commander, say check. Number 19, suggest obviously suicidal tactics to your opponents. Explain that's what Custer would do. Number 20, perform a rousing speech to your troops before the battle. Pose like Mussolini at the end. Number 21, secretly replace your opponent's miniatures one at a time with miniatures from other games. Number 22, claim your miniatures are proxy for another regiment, though that has no bearing on the gameplay whatsoever. Number 23, place all of your infantry on individual monster bases. Number 24, flock your bases with sand. Do not use glue. 25, take a halftime break to play with your Blood Bowl cheerleaders. 26, every time your opponent shows you a rule in the book, tear out that page and eat it. 27, every turn, play by the previous version of the rules. 28, each time your opponent destroys one of your units, remove an article of clothing. 29, reference only Hoyle's Book of Games for rule disputes. 30, produce 2 large blunt objects before the game starts. Suggest Iron Man rules. 31, gradually increase your volume as the game progresses. 32, place scantily clad female miniatures beside the table to distract your opponent's army. 33, do not move your army. Do not shoot. Flee when charged. 34, give your army a French paint scheme. After the first turn, give up. 35, during a rules dispute, reference several copies of the rules to make sure that they are the same in every book. 36, use only the exact same posed figure for your entire army. Proxy if necessary. 37, origami figurines. 38, discuss tactics with your troops. Become argumentative. 39, have no interior monologue. Digress frequently. Number 40, when talking about strategy, always ask what would Portnoy the Hedgehog, the surly Bloom County cartoon character, do. 41, 4 more words. Baby blue bikini top. 42, use the words whoop ass at least 20 times in your army list. 43, use a paintball gun to remove casualties for both sides. 44, use the wrong scale miniatures. 45, don't speak to your opponent during the game. 46, cuss a lot. Use only profanities from popular science fiction shows. 47, name all your vehicles after Dr. Seuss books. 48, when you win, dump a tub of Gatorade on your commander. 49, every time you lose a unit, take a shot of whiskey. 50, yodel. 51, try to play multiple games at once, like Gary Kasparov. 52, each turn, impersonate Peter Lorre just a little bit more. 53, start each game with the national anthem. 54, each turn replace your commander with a new figure. 55, after a good die roll, do a victory dance and spike the die. 56, write a battle report during the game. Take at least 5 minutes to write information between dice rolls. 57, spot glue all your pieces together so they continually fall apart through the game. 58, Keep comparing the current game you are playing unfavorably to Spellfire. 59. Ask if one of your opponent's female models is seeing anyone. 60. Your only model is a full-scale Godzilla suit. 61. Play with 2 fake prosthetic hooks. Refuse any offer of help. 62. Be sure to put cutesy hearts over all I's and J's on all banners and words in your army. 63. Have a spy listening into your opponent's conversations. Relay information through semaphore flags. 64. Have the same spy attempt to shoot your opponent's models in the back with models in the game that the spy is currently playing. 66. Place a model compass rose on the table. Be sure it's arranged so you can always claim your opponent takes a penalty shooting at you because of the sun in his eyes. 66. Have all your models covered in Vaseline at the start of the game. Offer no explanation. 67. Every time one of your models dies, go into the Fritz and Max monologue from Wizards. 68. Have conversations with the models in your carrying case about why they didn't get picked. 69. Put springs in your vehicle so they appear to all be on hydraulics. 70. Place bets on every die roll. 71. Try to bribe his dice. 72. Spend at least 5 minutes trying to move your models with telekinesis. 73. At each of the turns, have your corner team rehydrate you and give you a back rub, and don't forget the cut man. 74. Use a translator to communicate with your opponent. 75. Use a croupier stick to move your models. 76. Bribe several small children to stare silently at your opponent nonstop throughout the game. 77. Take 30 seconds winding up before rolling your dice. 78. Suggest playing diceless like Amber. 79. Read War and Peace during your opponent's turn. 80. Practice the saxophone or some other instrument you can't play when it's not your turn. 81. Mandatory conversion for all your models. Pasties. 82. Tape record the Wilhelm scream before the battle. Played each time a model dies. 83. Have a Senor Winchester-style conversation with your dice bag. 84. Speak in a golf voice when either you or your opponent is moving figures or rolling dice. 85. Try to move your models with an RC remote control. After the first failed attempt, change the batteries. 86. Model foam We're number 1 figures on all your models in rear ranks. 87. 6 more words. Jethro Tull Fan Club paint scheme. 88. When it's your turn to place terrain, dump a box of toy penguins on the table. 89. Claim your tape measure only measures in cubits. 90. When placing models, place a small dog on the table. Show your opponent you spent the points for him. 91. Speak in rhyme. 92. Tie slow burning matches in your beard and dress exactly like Blackbeard. Act like nothing is out of the ordinary. 93. When your opponent isn't looking, switch places with someone dressed exactly like you. 94. Describe the battle using more and more fictitious sounding tactics like the advanced cow and dairy farmer counter formation. 95. When 2 models are alone in close combat, yell at them to take it outside. 96. Tell your opponent that your kilt-wearing models are full regimental. Show them you're not kidding. 97. Hide a small rodent in your transport tank. 98. Have a man behind you performing a striptease during your opponent's turn. 99. When you lose a model, casually toss it behind your back. And 100. Read to your opponent children's novels during his turn. Oh, excuse me. So, that was my test. That was my test run. That was the 100 things that I can, your How to Annoy Wargamers. And that was something I wrote, I think, about 15 years ago. Wow. Back when I played, I think I was playing 40K at the time with all my lovely Imperial Guard. They don't know who Howard Cosell is, but they'll recognize his voice when they hear it. Yeah. So what I'm planning to do later is to try to do a fundraiser, because just for Christmas money. On Black Friday, if you're familiar with the Mr. Welch's list, I'm going to try to read the whole damn thing, which is almost 2,600 right now. That's probably going to take hours. But there's people that have posted it up on their website and or on their YouTube channel, and I mean, it's kind of hard not to give me credit when my name's in the title, but I'd still like to, have people go to my website for something that I wrote. Yeah, I know it's dated. It is very dated. I happened to find it the other day, and that's what gave me the idea. Like, I have played a lot of war games that have come out long since that one has expired. But, yeah, and I've only done about, 40, 50 of those. Though I did have a friend of mine go to a tournament, and it was my college girlfriend. She went. She brought her Harlequins to a 40K tournament, and unfortunately, I didn't get to go. And she did wear a baby blue bikini top, and she won first place. She said people were forgetting their shooting phase. Yeah, Lisa and her Harlequins. There's stories behind that. Something else I was also looking into, which I don't know if I'll do. But a while back, I was working on something called the Space Marine Project, where we were trying to come up with actual full-blown explanations for like Space Marine chapters that don't have anything other than is like we know the name and that's all we know. So you ended up with stuff like the Nemesis chapter, the Tarantulas, the Wrath of Korax, and they only exist for like if you're lucky, you know what their chapter badge looks like, you know what their color scheme looks like. And I was thinking about recording them and reading them off. I'd have to go back through them because it was an anthology, so some of them were not very good, and some of them were amazing. That's something I would like to be doing. And so the convention is tomorrow. I get started off at 6 o'clock. If you haven't signed up for the convention, please do so. There's still plenty of spaces. I'm on at 6 o'clock for the start tomorrow, and then I'm on at like 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday because I'm going on talking about 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, and one of the guys on the panel is in Europe. So we got to play the time zone game. We tried to get me and Havard and Thorfinn all on the same thing, but Texas, Sweden, and Japan, one of us is going to be on at 3 o'clock in the morning. So that unfortunately that didn't work. Yeah, we had a bunch of chapters. I think there was 20. The one that was the Blood Angel successor that was everybody was a psyker. That one kind of was the first one that got wrote, and that was the first one that actually everybody said no. Then we found one that was an April Fool's Day joke called the Screaming Geckos, and we thought, what if this wasn't a joke? Where in the, I think it was 93, it was the April Fool's edition, and they were one of the two lost Space Marine legions. Only they weren't lost. The administratum spilled coffee on the paperwork and refused to admit the mistake. So, yeah, and there will be. So we actually turned them into a scary Space Marine chapter rather than just a guy that kept telling that the scribe who had just ruined all of their paperwork that he had made a mistake, and the scribe kept denying it despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. So still got to do the Ethengar and then the Marvel. Got to speed things up, but work has been insane lately. But this is my test run. I'm glad you liked the list. Now I've got to go do righty stuff. And hopefully I will have some new art for you Saturday, because that's what I talked about. That's what Rubus and me were talking about. So let me see how I turn this off. Okay, which one of these buttons is the off button? That's not it. Yeah, I was using, I forgot which one I was using, but it was terrible because it was like overly complicated. And then they sent me to OBS, and it's like, oh my god, this is exactly what I need. Still don't have a camera, but I'd rather not have a camera. Have to keep some mysteries. Alright, everybody, I think I found the right button. Don't know about the Angry Marines. We've got, we do have an Iron Hand successor chapter called the Steel Dragoons. They were actually a typo. It was supposed to be the Steel Dragons, and and it was in some magazine, and everybody was wondering who they were, and they had put an extra O into dragons, so it became the Dragoons. Okay, so let me get back to writing, because I've got some Ethengarians to talk about. So thanks for joining me, everybody. Well, hopefully I'll be able to start doing more live chats and